Hey everyone, welcome to the Restorative Reading and Writing for Wellness podcast. I'm Stephanie, a book-loving, notebook-hoarding reader and writer on a mission to change lives one book and one notebook at a time. On this podcast, we explore the power of books and notebooks as tools for wellness. Reading and writing can help us feel better and make life better too, and I'll show you how I do it. You'll find episodes exploring the research behind reading and writing for wellness, practical strategies to embrace your own restorative reading and writing, and you'll meet authors and special guests who help us take inspired actions in our own daily practices too. So grab a notebook and your TBR list and let's dive into today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Restorative Reading and Writing for Wellness. I'm Stephanie, and I'm here with another episode on how reading and writing can make life better, but it's a new kind of episode. This is the very first time I am doing an episode like this on the podcast, which is kind of surprising because what I'm doing today is quite literally my favorite thing to do with people, and that is to recommend particular books for particular people in particular phases of their lives. I love recommending books through snail mail with my book postcard project. I love recommending books through my digital book apothecary. And I also love recommending books through my live virtual coaching sessions where we build book apothecaries too. But today and every day, actually every month in the podcast, I thought it would be fun to kind of pull back the curtain on that process and actually air an episode where I'm helping a listener build their book apothecary. And so that's what today's segment is. The last day, the last Tuesday, I guess, of every month, I am planning to host a Build Your Book Apothecary session. Now, what is a book apothecary? If you are new to this podcast, a book apothecary is a collection of books that helps you be, do, and feel what you want to be, do, and feel in this particular season of life and help you grow through whatever you're going through. It's using books as these beautiful tools for your nervous system and your mind and your brain and your body to feel better and do better, however better lines up to what you are hoping for yourself. So today we are actually creating a book apothecary in real time with a real life listener so you can see what that's like. Now, how did it work? Well, I put out a call in my Substack and on my email list to people who might be interested in building a book apothecary with me live on the podcast. Those that were interested headed to a very simple Google form, which had a couple of questions about who they were, what season of life they were in, what their reading life was like, what they wanted to grow through. The whole be, do, feel question came into play. Just some basic questions to give me an idea of who they were. And from there, we hopped on a Zoom call and had a live recorded call. They talked about themselves, they talked about what they're looking for. And then through that conversation, I suggest anywhere between 3 and 5, I think, at least at this point, books that they could build their book apothecary with. So today's episode is our inaugural episode for this feature that I am so excited to start on the podcast, and that's with Amy. Amy is a longtime listener of the podcast back when it was called Get Literate from the very beginning. She's also a member of my private Get Literate community, and she reads books. She reads a lot of books. And so I was thrilled to have her be the very first person who filled out the Google form and welcome her to the podcast to really celebrate this new idea here. So if you want to be the next guest on the monthly segment of the podcast, all you need to do is head to my website at alitlife.com, click on the podcast heading, and then go ahead and fill out your interest on that Google form link. So, without further ado, let's get to our very first episode to help a listener build her book apothecary. Amy, welcome to the Restorative Reading and Writing for Wellness podcast. I am so thrilled that you are here for our inaugural Build Your Book Apothecary session. That was a mouthful.
You. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited. I'm
I am excited.
nervous but excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's a new segment on the podcast. And although it's a new segment for the podcast, it is not new for you and I to talk books.
Right.
So, yeah, we talk books all the time. And I was thinking, like, you are the perfect person to do this for the first time with because we know each other and we both love books and we both love the idea and we're very comfortable chatting with each other. But then I realized, Amy, this could be a very hard episode for me because you read a lot of books, and I have already recommended tons and tons of books for you today. So I'm going to be on my toes trying to think of books that either you haven't seen or you haven't read. So it's both a blessing that we know each other and somewhat of a challenge, I think, today too.
I'm sure you'll recommend some wonderful ones.
Okay, so why don't we start with you just giving us a bit about you? Like, tell us about you, the season of life you're in, and something about your reading life.
Well, I'm a few years into retirement now. Um, I have been loving the idea that I'm retired, but I find myself a little bit lost at times. I still find the need to I feel it necessary to follow a schedule. I've spent so many years of my life following that teacher educator schedule. So I'm trying to get off that need and move into the relaxation mode. And I feel like I'm doing a fairly good job at that, but um, I'd like to do a better job at just being free to be more relaxed and move into that feeling of ease, which is my one word theme for the year.
Hmm.
So that's kind of like the season that I'm in right now in the retirement season. And although I'm a few years in, I still sometimes feel like I'm in the beginning of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you're a retired librarian and reading
Yes.
specialist, right? So books have been part of your life forever.
Yes, and I spent much of my career reading children's books, and although I did read some adult books, I feel like over the past few years, I've really fallen in love once again with books for me. And although I still love reading children's books, I've really fallen in love with reading books for me and the adult books and the nonfiction and the fiction and, those kinds of books.
Hmm. And you really do have a wide reading life, right? From the Google form of the genres that you were open to is pretty much everything, both adult, young adult, middle grade, picture books. You're kind of up for it all, right?
I am. This past summer, I even kind of dove in a little bit and read a horror book, but I did do my research because I don't like a lot of horror. I don't like gore or body horror, but I did read a horror book. It was more a little scary. That's kind of where I'm at with horror.
Hmm. I think you're further along than I am in that genre. And the idea behind a book apothecary is that it's helping you in this moment, it's helping you with what you want next, it's helping you feel the way you want to feel. And so as someone who's looking for ease and someone who's looking to like relax her way into this new phase, I can see why horror would not be your first choice.
That's right.
It all makes sense. So as you think about kind of this new phase you find yourself in, the framework I always love to use when thinking about a book apothecary for someone is the be, feel, do framework. Like who do you want to be in this season? How do you want to feel? And what do you want to do? You don't have to answer those questions literally one by one, but when I ask you about that be, feel, do, what comes to mind when you're thinking about building your next book apothecary?
I think I first think of feelings. I would like to, as I said, feel more ease in my life in general, and feeling more like I can ease into the day and ease into my hobbies. And recently, when I was engaging in a cooking project and a baking and some baking projects, I kind of went all into the project, and I had the music, the themed playlist going in the background, and I just had so much fun and I felt so joyful. And I think I want that feeling of joyfulness in my life
Hmm.
along with the ease. And I was telling someone in my family that and a friend of mine that I hadn't felt that joyfulness, I think, in a long time, since my kids were little, and we would do some cooking together, and we would do different art projects, and we'd have the music playing, and, all those things that we would do together. And I felt that, by myself as I was doing this cooking project with the themed playlist and all the things. And then I did share it with my family, and they enjoyed the food, and just having that fun and that freedom to just cook and spend the time, because for so many years, cooking was just kind of like, oh, we have to get the food on the table because we've got to get this done, and we've got to go here, and so's got to get to this lesson, or this activity. And although I enjoyed those years immensely as well, it just became more of something that we needed to get done quickly.
Hmm. And again, that matches your hope in your life overall, which is new phase, retirement, try to get away from that go, 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 be on the schedule, get this done, to easing into this more easeful, joyful, relaxed state, which can be really, really hard for people who are used to go, go, going to do.
Oh, I know. I know. And so many years, you spend 20 some years of your life on a schedule,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
tight schedule.
Well, I'm glad to see you say you wanted to focus more on that feeling part, because looking at the Google submission that you had, that is exactly what jumped out to me as well. Not to mention that I know you, so we've had conversations, but that idea of using books to embrace a way we want to feel is ideal for a book apothecary. And it's especially ideal when you're trying to embrace a feeling that doesn't come quite as naturally to you. And you need the help of those words and that experience and that time and something helping to turn on that part of your brain that you've turned off for so long. Books can be that magical extra missing piece that can pave the way to do that. So it's just the perfect setting for a book apothecary. And so I'm so glad and so excited to do this. And I'm pretty sure after stalking your Goodreads and knowing some of the things that you've read, that I've got books that I think will be new to you that blend a little bit of all of the things that you've said and also connect to some other things on your submission that I'll highlight along the way. So
That
are you
sounds good.
ready? Are you ready to hear what I recommended?
Yes.
So the idea in these sessions is to recommend around 3 books for each apothecary. I like to say 3 because there's this Jim Rohn quote out there that says you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? And so I like to connect that to books. That says, what if our brains and the way we think and all of the things that we kind of become are because of the last 5 books we've read? And so I like to think of a book apothecary being 3 out of those 5 books to kind of tip the scales in favor of where we want to go. But that doesn't mean a couple of others might sneak in today. So I do have a set of books that I want to recommend across a couple of different genres and formats. And I think I'm going to start with the adult nonfiction, the adult personal development that I have for you. Now, you didn't mention it in kind of your discussion of yourself in your reading life, but one thing I know is that you like reading inspirational books, little snippets
Mhm.
of things, and you in the past have like day books where you have something a little bit that you could read every day. Is that still true?
Yes, yes, for sure. And
Okay.
I do.
So the one that I want to recommend for you, there's actually two. I'm recommending them as one, but I think you could pick the one that you want to lean into the most. Both of them are written by Melody Beattie. And Melody probably sounds familiar because Jen Hatmaker in her memoir Awake mentioned Melody Beattie's book, Codependent No More, as a book that was incredibly important to her. And these two books are also written by Melody, but they are not your typical nonfiction personal development prose book. It is a day book. It is both of these are day books. The first is called Journey to the Heart: Daily Reflections for Spiritual Growth, Embracing Creativity, and Discovering Your True Purpose. And that one really jumped out at me for you. You are trying to embrace this feeling of ease, this feeling of joy, which means being creative and learning and growing and that purpose of what is your purpose right now. And this season now that your situation, especially your work situation, has changed. And I loved this book because each day has just a short, maybe a couple paragraphs at best, um, mini essay for the day, but they have these each has a heading that kind of captures the essence of it. So one of them could be healthy self-care. Another one is trust your heart. Another one could be setting healthy limits. There are things that as you move into a new season and you have to rework new boundaries, new ideas, new ways of being, I feel like this could be a morning dose of creativity for you.
Mhm.
How does this one sound?
That sounds perfect because when I told you that I kind of took some notes on myself before before you asked me questions, I literally put some of those types of things in my notes. I put that I wanted for B, I wanted to be creative in such things as like collage and I wanted to be a reader and a writer and all those different creative things. So that's perfect.
Wonderful. Okay, so the second one I want to recommend though, that's also by Melody Beattie, is very similar. It's also a day book. There's 365 little essays in this one as well, but this one is called The Language of Letting Go. And it's about letting go of certain phases, whether for each of us it's letting go of a job or a relationship or an expectation or something. The idea is letting go by remaining open to what's to come, and that felt like it might be also pretty fitting with you as you are kind of navigating this slower, different, more easy kind of stage. So if I had to pick one for you, I would pick Journey to the Heart. But I also want you to know that the language of letting go is another day book style kind of book that I think could I think you're going to want them both, but I think the Journey to the Heart is a good one to start off your book apothecary with some nice nonfiction.
Great.
Okay, so there's one. The next one I want to recommend, it's kind of a sorry, not sorry situation, Amy, because I'm kind of sorry that this book is not quite published yet. So you can't go out and add it to your cart immediately. But I'm not sorry because you read so many books. I am thrilled to be able to share one that I absolutely 100% know you haven't read. So you do have to wait a little bit for this one, but this is an adult fiction and technically could be classified as adult historical fiction. It goes back and forth between the past and the present, and it is a book that is enmeshed in family and mothers and daughters and grandmothers and great grandmothers and the beauty and the complication that can come with those relationships over time. And in your submission, and what I know about you, family is everything. Family is very, very important to you. Your home and the way it feels is very, very important to you. And I feel like this book is going to not only embrace that, what's next in this stage and how can it feel light and joyful and easy, but it's also going to rest on those things, those values that are really, really important to you. How do you feel about reading historical fiction?
Oh, I love it. I
You
do love
do.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this book is about Lucy, and technically it's about Lucy and every woman ancestor that has come before her for hundreds of years. She is part of a family whose slightly magical, I would say, gifts allow this family of perfume makers, and there's a much more beautiful name for it in the book that I seem to have lost, but the women in this family are worldwide known for their beautiful perfumes and their ability to match perfumes to the people who are looking for them. But in addition to a select few, these women can gift their magicalness into the perfume as well. So some might have the ability to make people feel better. Another woman, her perfume will make people find their true love. Right? Each woman has a different passion, and the threads that go across the story between mother and daughter and grandmother and great grandmother and all of the things is this idea of what's for me in this season? What's for me in this generation? How do I stand on all of the shoulders of the people that came before me and all of the things that I have done before me to decide what I want life to look like right now? And so, again, it has that theme of identity and figuring things out, but it's also completely tangled up in family and all of the complications that can arise for that. But then the other thread that I feel is so fitting for you is this creativity and this perfumery and the little shelves and containers of all of the different herbs and the things that go into making it, I think could really appeal to your creative
Mm.
side. So what do you think of all that I have just thrown at
Oh,
you?
when does it come out?
It doesn't come out until the beginning of April. And so I'm
Oh,
so sorry that you
that's
have to
okay.
wait,
I
but
can wait. It sounds delightful. I am excited about that one. That sounds really good.
it's amazing. And the other thing that I didn't mention that I want to make sure I do is because in your submission, you like journaling and creative journaling and junk journaling and just preserving things on the page. And that is a big part of this book. Every daughter across all of the generations gets this giant tome of a journal that gets passed down from one to one to one to one. And every daughter puts her story in it. And so over the hundreds of years, you have stories dating back to as far as their family line goes, and you learn about each of your ancestors, or they learn about each of their ancestors as if they were here in the moment. And I know that's what writing does. Our journals make it feel like,
Oh,
everybody is here. And so I think that is really going to appeal to you as well.
oh my gosh, that sounds wonderful.
This book was written for you, quite frankly.
Oh, good. Yeah, I can't wait to read that.
Okay, so two for two so far. So the next book I want to recommend to you is called The Magic of Someday Soon by
Hmm.
Michelle Lee. Is this one that you have heard of?
No, but I like the title.
Yeah, I love the title too. This is a middle grade book, and I
Mm.
know you are open to having adults, middle grade, all sorts of age groups. Um, and this also has a lot of threads that I think are perfect for you. It's about Zoe and Teddy, two two very different girls that collide together in a week long adventure. So this entire book is set up in about a week, and the chapters are actually based on the days of the week so that you can see the progression of time. Each girl is searching for something. They're searching for family or that feeling of family. They are searching for a home that feels really, really good and really safe. But they do it in two very different ways. And the book starts off with a bang because each girl pretends to be someone else as they are interacting together in an attempt to get what they want. So, for example, Zoe pretends to be her mom to get her to this particular place in the US where her father, who passed away, used to live so she can feel closer to him. But Teddy, unbeknownst to her, invites that same mom to that same location to preserve some art statues that are important to her and her found family. And so they're both pretending to be someone else, but end up colliding together in this place in the south of the United States. So the setup is just a really fun, immersive kind of book. But while they're there, you get the perspectives of both girls. So you have that family focus, you have that home focus that you love, and you also have that creativity because art is threaded through this
Yeah.
story as well, as is a great grandmother named Dee. And so, from what I know about you and from what I know in your submission, you are going to love Dee as much as I did because Dee is this self-assured, meaning not in a bad way, but just knows who she is and knows what she believes, and she believes in the natural world, and she believes in the ability of plants and tea to make us feel better, and that everything happens for a reason. And she brings the community together with that view. And I know that that view is something that we both share, that we both love. And as in the first book, The Library of Flowers, the focus is on perfume. In this book, it's on tea and the healing powers of tea and how to put it together and how to think and be still with yourself while it steeps. And I know you love tea too. So this this one came to mind for you just to continue those themes from the Library of Flowers, but on a middle grade level, which I know you love so much.
Ooh, yay.
It feels like a heartwarming one, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, and middle grade March is coming up, so I'm excited. I get to
Yes.
read lots of middle grade.
And
So
this one
that's
is published, so you don't have to wait
yay.
for this one.
That sounds so sweet. Um,
So I've got one more for you, and it's
okay.
a picture book, of
Yay,
course,
even better.
because yes, because you didn't mention, but I want to that you have a Substack
Mhm.
dedicated to your love of picture books. So I want to give you a second to just talk about your picture book love and what your Substack is before I share the book I have for you because I just want people to know about all the book love you share there.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I do. I have been a blogger since 2012, and I thought that I was done with that when I retired, and then I realized no, I'm not, and I started back up again and have a Substack now called Mother Goose Librarian. When I was teaching and a librarian, I shared Mother Goose rhymes as one of my things I did with students, and some of the teachers started calling me Mother Goose. So I took that name and kind of ran with it. And I share on my Substack lots of picture book love and other things too, dealing with literacy and mostly picture books. And um, I have a large picture book collection in my house, and any one of my family and friends can attest to that. And I do still continue to collect picture books because someday I will hopefully have grandchildren to share them with.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing that I particularly love about your Substack, beyond just all of the great books that you share, is that you are brilliant at pairing them
Oh,
with something that's going on, whether it's a national day that no one knows about, or something related to the seasons, or something that was connected to your life. You're so good at connecting the picture book to something in reality that makes everybody just want to read it, whether you're young
oh.
or young at heart.
Well, thank you. And I have, speaking of pairing it with something fun, I have a fun post coming up about, one of my dog's gotcha day celebrations.
I can't wait for that one. I can't wait for that one. Okay. So I'll make sure to put the link to your Substack in the show notes
Oh,
as
thank
well, so
you.
listeners can find you. But the last book, and it is more than three, so we're moving on five, but that's okay.
Yay. Give them all to me.
The last book is a picture book. Um, and I know you've probably heard of it, but I don't know if you've read it, and that's The Blue House I Loved. Have you
Okay.
read this one? Do you know this one?
Is that the one that you had on your Kid That Love podcast? I literally just listened to that podcast and I did order it, but I haven't read it yet.
Oh, good. This one is for you. So this is by Kao Kalia Yang. It's illustrated by Jen Shin, and it really does embrace this feeling of home, which is what you're all about, right? Embracing ease and joy and family and home and feeling quite content in all of those places. And that's what this book does. This book just feels like a warm hug to the idea of home, whether it's a physical home or a metaphorical home, or wherever home is for you because your people are there or the things that you love are there. Um, this book starts by focusing on the Blue House, which was the family home of the characters, actually based on Cow's real life experience. And it talks about all of the things that happen inside the home that make it home, from the kitchen to the dinners to the sleepovers to the couches, the physical things that make it a home. But then the home is no longer there. It was torn down. It is just a lot. And even though it is not physically there, the idea of home, right, still lives inside of us because of the memories around it. So it shifts from the physical things in the home to those intangible things that you can't feel or touch, but that truly make a home, no matter where it is. And that just feels very fitting for you and all of these beautiful feelings that you're trying to cultivate in this new season. So I'm so glad. I know you're trying not to buy as many books, but I'm really glad you bought that one.
Well, trying doesn't mean I'm doing it, but
Yeah. Yeah. So to recap, I just want to list through the titles and then ask you your opinion about them. So we've got Journey to the Heart and The Language of Letting Go, which were those day books for spiritual growth, embracing creativity, finding your true purpose. You have The Library of Flowers by L.C. Chu, that beautiful historical and present day fiction about generations of mothers and daughters finding their way. You've got The Magic of Someday Soon by Michelle Lee, this gorgeous middle grade novel that also has themes of family, but art and creativity and just this knowing of what comes next. And The Blue House I Loved by Kao Kalia Yang that addresses this beautiful idea of what a home or the spirit of home really is. And so I'm just curious, as you listened to all of those titles and you think about the books that you now have stacked up in a metaphorical Book Apothecary in front of you. What do you think of those? Which one are you excited for the most?
Oh,
Which one will you lean into? Tell me your thoughts.
well, I can't stop smiling, first of all. So if that's any indication, I know your listeners cannot see the smile, but they hopefully can hear it in my voice. I'm very excited about all of them. I love the day books, like you say. That's one of my favorite kind of books. I can't wait for that. That'll go in my morning reading,
Hmm.
in print for sure. Um, I tend to focus a lot on audiobooks, so the other books will probably be audiobooks, except for the picture books. The picture book will definitely, well, that's coming, and I think it'll be here Friday. So
Good.
that will definitely be part of my collection and actually part of some research that I'm working on. So um, yeah, I'm super excited about all of them, honestly.
Oh,
So
good. It's a
yeah.
it's a 5 out of 5. It's
Oh, for sure. For sure.
oh good. So before we go, I do just want to talk about and kind of pick your brain a little bit about the things that surround a book apothecary. So this idea of a book apothecary is to read to help you really grow into that season, that feeling, that idea of who you want to be. Ideally, you've got a nice 30-minute chunk of reading because that really resets our nervous system to receive all of these messages in the book. And the other thing I recommend to pair when you're reading the book is some sort of sensory extra to help you lock in this really relaxed way and signal to your nervous system that it's time for some care. And so I'm just curious of what your extra might be. Do you like candles or the aromatherapy, or do you get comfy socks? Like I'd love to know what your extra little self-care will be as you gift yourself this time to read.
I'd say for sure the candle. Um, Sometimes I do use the aromatherapy diffusers. Definitely my dogs. They're always around cuddling. Blanket, cozy blanket in the winter. Sometimes even in the summer, because I like the air conditioning on to be extra cold so
Yeah.
that I can cover up. Yeah, and I do like sometimes I have in the summer I guess it could be all year, but I do have a little portable type small fountain, so that little sound of the trickling water is nice
Yeah.
too. And
Yeah.
of course, I have a couple of little notebooks that I usually, well, again, your listeners can't see them, but a couple little notebooks that I have and my iPad, for notes in there as well. So,
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up because that was the last thing I wanted to remind
oh,
people that a nudge notebook is an essential part of a book apothecary to just catch those nudges and those ideas as they pop up, those quotes that jumped out at you as a way to bring the words from the page to life in your actual life. Were you going to say something else?
oh no, just yeah, definitely the quotes and yeah, sometimes with audiobooks, I definitely am rewinding and speaking them into the notes app sometimes, and then I'll copy them down into my quote notebook or the nudge notebook. And
Yeah.
I have a special little notebook just for picture book quotes and all of that too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
We could have a
Love.
whole nother episode on our notebooks, I think.
Yes, yes. A notebook apothecary.
Yes. Yes. And together, the book and notebook apothecary is where that magic happens.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to end up seeing which books you read first or what you think of them, what nudges perhaps end up in that nudge notebook so that you can take some inspired action in your own life. And I will pull together this book list, right? So it'll be in the show notes for the episode. I will certainly pass it along to you so that you can create your stack, whether it's in person or if it's in your audiobook. app. And I just want to thank you. Thank you for being my first guest in this segment. I hope that you love it. I know that listeners are going to, be getting their own book ideas from your story. And so I just want to thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and I can't wait to hear other guests so I can make other apothecaries too.
Yes, yes, which means we'll have to be really careful about the book budgets we have both tried to set for ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Amy. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Restorative Reading and Writing for Wellness podcast. You'll find links to all of the books, resources, and ideas mentioned in the show notes and at alitlife.com. And if you want more, you might like to join my Get Literate Substack community. There, you'll find additional inspiration for your reading and writing life, like bonus podcast episodes, book calendars, monthly book clubs, notebooking inspiration, live events, giveaways, and much more. It's only $5 a month, and you get instant access to all of the previous content, too. You can learn more at getliterate.co. But there's one more thing. If you love what you listened to today, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast, or take a screenshot of the episode and text it to a friend. This helps the podcast grow and builds our bookish and notebookish community, too. Thanks for listening, everyone.